Joining us from our Hollywood studios, one of the all-time great stars. He's been writing, recording and performing hit songs for nearly 30 years. His concerts are always sellouts. His songs like Cherry Cherry, Sweet Caroline, I Am I Said, I'm a Believer, Beautiful Noise, they're all now classics. It's a pleasure to have him join us this afternoon. Would you please welcome Neil Diamond?
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you, Derryn. I promised to... Hi, gang.
Hi.
Oh, that's nice.
What did you just hold up then? What's the sign say?
That's Trish and Kathy McCabe, who I promised. I spoke to Kathy McCabe, who writes for a Sydney newspaper, and she did an interview with me just a little while ago. And she said, you know, I wrote an interview when you were in Sydney, and my mom wrote an interview. And we were having lunch today, and I said, well, you know, I'll say hello to you. I'm doing a TV show, and maybe I'll get a chance to say hello. So
you just have.
I said hello. I'm sorry.
Well,
hi, ladies, and thanks for the great review.
You made me feel getting a bit older myself, because I wrote an editorial about you in 1976 and said, I went to your concert at the Sydney Sports Ground, and you were such a huge hit for Australia. And I knew you were from Brooklyn, and I said, you'll come back now, you're here, because you were such a huge star.
That was one of the most memorable concerts in my life. I think the tour itself was unforgettable, but that particular show, I'd never played to an audience that large, and I'll never forget it. I don't know if, you know, I know it was on TV at that time, but it was one of the half dozen or so concerts I specifically remember because it was so scary.
Now, your best concert ever, though, must surely be at the Greek Theatre, the Hot August Night concert. Must stick in your mind forever.
Well, I've played the Greek Theatre a number of times, and I love playing there, but I wouldn't say, you know, the best concert ever, because each concert is special. You know, I hate to go back to it only because I'm talking to you all from this far away, but my 2 tours of Australia have been among the highlights of my touring career. And as big and as exciting to me as the Greek Theatre ever was, the audiences are certainly as enthusiastic as they are over here. So Australia is a very special place to us.
Did you know that when your Hot August Night album came out and rocketed to #1, that record players and phonographs in Australia, the sales went up of the actual machines?
No, I didn't know that, but that's great to hear. It's unfortunate they don't make records anymore, but that's nice to hear.
Now, of all the songs you wrote, and I mentioned some of them in my introduction, does Neil Diamond have a favourite Neil Diamond song?
Yes, and it's usually the one that I'm working on right now, and I am working on one right now. It's my favorite because it's the newest, it's the freshest, it's still coming from me, it's still exciting to hear it again, it's still new, so new, it's just born. And I'd have to say that's my favorite right now. It may not be the best song I've ever written, but for me right now, it gets my heart pumping.
But going back through your classics, surely Solitary Man would have a special place in your heart.
Solitary Man, without any question. It was my first chart record in the United States. It separated me from all the other people who were knocking around and trying to get recording contracts and trying to work their way into the public limelight somehow. And Solitary Man was a start for me. So I think it's probably the most important record I've ever had.